question. So, Yu-Gi-Oh, right? It's a collectible trading card game, and a big part of the whole, like, playing of Yu-Gi-Oh is collecting the cards. And I have a big question. So, storage. What do you do with all your Yu-Gi-Oh cards? How do you sort them? So, first of all, if you have, like, gaming and anime t-shirts, you put them all in a box. Makes sense, pretty easy. You have all winter clothes. You put that in a box as well. And then, you have all your Yu-Gi-Oh stuff. You put all that in a box, but then you go inside the box, and inside the box, it's a goddamn mess. So I just want you to join me in trying to understand what's the most efficient way of storing Yu-Gi-Oh cards. So let me just show you what I'm working with first. How intimate is this? You, me, the bed, Yu-Gi-Oh. Very nice. Right, so first of all, you have all your mats. You collect mats over time, you have them all. They're pretty easy to store, so you put them on top. So you just have all your mats. Right, that's one. Then we move on to the important stuff. So, you have your shinies, the cards that are valuable. For me, I put them all in one big binder, which is a shiny binder. But how do you order the cards inside of the folder? Well, for me, I like to have the front one as just sort of like a nice page. So I just have all the Egyptian gods, the sacred beasts, the wicked gods. It's just a nice front. That's fine, we don't count the front page. But then where do you go after this? I like to start with, say, the secret rares, the highest rarity ones you can get, and then work my way down to the super rares towards the back. And then you have them as extra deck cards in order of how they've appeared. So it should be like Link monsters first, then Pendulum monsters, then Xyz Synchro, and going the way down. So then after that you go on to effect monsters, and then you go to spell cards, then trap cards. But they're making it harder and harder for me to organise. And obviously it's an absolute mess at the moment because we've filled it. We've filled this binder. It's full of cards now, like every single page. And they're not in order, so it looks terrible. And then you get new cards, and they don't fit in there. So you have to put cards underneath other cards. And then do you put cards that are different rarities, but they're the same card together? Or do you put them in separate ones? I mean, we have a legal Winged Dragon of Ra right there, but we have another Winged Dragon of Ra right at the front. So should they be separate? I don't know. You tell me. So, like, you have your shiny folder, of course. But then you want to have a different folder because you also collect Pokemon cards. So you put your Pokemon cards in one of your Yu-Gi-Oh folders because your old folder is a complete mess. This one isn't important. Ignore that one. And then you have all these normal monsters. These normal cards that you'll never use again pretty much for the rest of your life. So you decide to put all your normal monsters into a folder called a normal monster folder. And you order them pretty much in terms of stars and attack points kind of thing. So you put them all in. And then, of course, normal monsters start making a little bit of a comeback with Link monsters for some strange reason. So we seem to get more of them. And then this becomes a bit of a mess because this, luckily, this one isn't too filled up, but we could easily film this up. And then you have a page full of Ojamas because that's quite funny. Why wouldn't you have a page of Ojamas? But then you don't want to put your rare cards in with your super rares because rares, they aren't as good as the shinies because they're not actually shiny cards. So you have a rare folder and use the legendary collection with the original Egyptian gods that you got in fake at a car boot sale once because, you know, Konami, don't find me, man. They're fake, I don't care. And then you put all your rares inside of there, and then all you do is you just do the same thing. You put your, you know, extra deck monsters first in the order of when they came, but obviously you start putting other ones a bit further back, but who cares? In fact, do I have any? But they're in a bit of a mess. We have the Xyz monsters over here. That's fine, and we have some Pendulum monsters, so you can see we've kind of got things sorted in this one. But then they do something really weird where they start bringing out black rare cards, where the rarity's black in the Battle Pack 01 thingy, whatever it was called. And then I've been hearing things about there's like red rare and yellow rare and purple rare and stuff. And like, how do you organise that? And then you have all these super rare cards that you don't think are even worth putting into your super rare folder. So you have all these like ones that are worth like 5p each, so you just shove them all in there. So, yeah, now your rare folder's an absolute mess as well. But then, you have all your common cards, and you can't just put all your common cards in a box. And then you can't just put all your common cards in a box, because what if you need one of those common cards again? What if you want to find your Monster Reborns? Well, you put all your common cards in a common card folder, and this one, of course, is going to be stacked to the brim like this. And it's going to be full, and you put that one in order, again, of extra monsters at the front, ritual monsters at the front, and then you go... What I used to do, it was in levels, but now it's just a complete shambles of a mess. I mean, you try and keep them together. You've got like all the Roid cards here, and then you've got all the bits and bobs here, and you try and do that. And then you get towards the end, it's all your spells, and it's all your traps. But then you realise that there's no such thing as a folder big enough to house all of your common cards. So what happens then? Well, you know all the tins you've been collecting over the years? Well, they're just going to be all in there. They're just sitting there like this. And that's where they stay, because you've now got like sets inside of boxes. And then the boxes are nice, you don't want to throw away the boxes, so you just try and keep different things. So we've got a Soul Fusion box inside of here, which is inside of a Jaden Yu-Gi-Oh tin. Inside of the Soul Fusion tin are a couple shinies. There is actually a borrow load in there. Why is a borrow load in there? It's because my shiny folder's full and I can't put them anywhere else. What do we have here? We have a Heroic Champion Excalibur tin. What's inside of here? Oh, it's all your card sleeves, because where else are you going to put all your spare card sleeves? And what else is in there? All your old little deck mats that you don't use anymore, because you actually have proper deck mats now. So, of course, that's a bit of a mess. Then you have another tin that's identical to the one you just opened, with another tin inside of that one. And then when you open that tin inside, you have all your Pokemon energy cards, because you're not going to keep different trading cards in different storage things. Then you open an Evolza Dolka tin. What do you think is going to be inside of this one? Guess what? You're wrong. It's your Eye of Judgment cards that you used to have when you used to play the old PlayStation Eye of Judgment game. Do you remember that game? You don't remember that game. And you also have your Yu-Gi-Oh! Top Trumps card and little pins and things like that. I mean, it's in there. Then you have another Dolka tin. It's got more stuff inside. You have an Illuminite tin. We've just got more Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards inside. And then you have your original first ever tin you ever bought for Yu-Gi-Oh! And what do you keep inside your first ever Yu-Gi-Oh! Tin? Well, of course you keep all of your non-shiny Pokemon cards that are also not energy cards. As well, you keep your Yu-Gi-Oh! Pogs inside, because where else are you going to keep them? And I think there's some Pokemon ones in here, but let's not open that can of worms. And then you think to yourself, what else could be in your Yu-Gi-Oh! Box? Well, you have your Yu-Gi-Oh! Speed Duel Arena of Lost Souls box, which now contains speed dueling cards. So, speed dueling cards are now separate to the original Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards, so now they need to be kept separate, so I need another folder to put these inside, or just keep them in the speed dueling box. But the box won't close, so I can't keep them inside, and if I put them inside of a tin, then I'm just going to forget about them. It's just a mess. And we're still not done. Yu-Gi-Oh! Stickers. Obviously, Yu-Gi-Oh! Stickers go inside of your Yu-Gi-Oh! Book, which you managed to finish, but unfortunately, you didn't take after it. You didn't look after it over the years, so should I say. It's all fallen apart, but you just don't tell people. You say you've got a completed Yu-Gi-Oh! Sticker book here. You have your fan mail from your YouTube channel, of course, in here. You have all these things that when you buy stuff off websites, they keep sending you so you can send more, which actually was quite a good investment, and they give you these as well. I mean, these are all pretty good. You keep your actual Pokedex inside of here, which, why wouldn't you? And then, of course, you've got to have one of these little deck boxes, not to keep your deck in, of course, but to keep all your little counters, just in case you play a counter deck, which you never do. You just have them just for the sake of having them. You have all these different sided dies as well. You have 11-sided die, 12-sided. I don't think 11-sided dies exist. You have them just in case you ever need them. You might as well keep them all together. And then you have one last item in your box, which I think is the only one that makes sense, which is your deck box. And what do you keep inside your deck box? Why, you keep your actual decks. This is the only one that actually makes sense to me, because I know what goes in here. It's the deck that you're playing with, and you just reach in, you grab it, and you have it. And that isn't what I'm moaning about today. All I'm moaning about is how the hell do you sort all this out? How could I turn this mess of a box with all this stuff here into a beautiful OCD masterpiece where everything's placed nice? Where I just have, say, like 5 folders and it's all together nicely. Do I have a secret rare folder, a super rare folder? But then even then, there's different types of secret rares, super rares, ghost rares, holographic rares, and things like that. So now we're confusing ourselves, because there's different types of just normal rare cards as well that we talked about a little bit earlier. So how do you separate that? You could probably do that if you get one of each, but that's a bit too much. You don't want to have so many different types of folders. I don't know what point I'm trying to make. All I want to ask for this video is, what's the most efficient way to store Yu-Gi-Oh! Cards? Can someone please just tell me? Because this is a mess. Whenever I want something, it's a hassle to do. And my camera's about to die because I've ranted so much. But I want to thank you all for watching this video. And yeah, guys, thank you very much. I hope you've all enjoyed this video. Stay frosty. Bye.